Hello, everyone. Z Healing Love Flower here. You're probably wondering what I'm holding up. So, here, what I have is a glass found on the beach. So, this was given to me, and it's got a little teardrop in there. It's supposed to be valuable. It was given to me by a homeless guy. So, it was right after I moved here to Hawaii. It was like almost a year ago. And I was walking by the beach waiting for my daughter. She was surfing. And I walked to a spot wherein not a lot of people go to. It had a lot of rocks, and I figured I will go to that side, and try to get energy. I love to go get energy to in places where people don't go visit much, and because I find that especially those spots in nature, they have concentrated energy and I can suck it all up. Yeah. I'm looking for energy. I am all about it, the positive, higher vibrational energy. I'm always looking for it, searching for it, and welcoming it. Yeah, I am that beautiful energy, and then I've become one with it. So yeah, as I was walking and I went all the way to the end, I found there was this guy, homeless. He had built a little teeny tiny tent on the rocks, and the water, like right almost on the water, and very creative. And he was digging and doing something, and I smiled as I walked by, and I turned around, and as I was coming back, and he talked to me. He stopped me. He was like, "You're probably wondering what I'm doing here." I'm like, "No, it didn't cross my mind." Like, people do what they do. He said, "Well, I am actually digging for treasures." I'm like, "Huh, treasure? Okay, I said, "Okay. How's that going?" And he's like, "It's great. I have to show you the wonderful things that I found." So he had all these beautiful rocks, shells that he had collected, he had found. He goes to places where in basically virgin places and find all these amazing rocks, glasses. So it's a glass, but that was buried or had been in the ocean for over like 100 years, something like that. So they do have people here that actually they can take these to, and they can check out the value, and they pay them. So he was showing me some of the things that he had and how much they're worth. I'm like, "Oh wow, this is impressive." So I talked to him about it, and before you know it, we were talking about me just moving to the island, and I was doing my own research and going places. I said, "I'm glad that I found that spot." I told him, I would love to bring my daughter there and actually go digging for treasure as well, because anything new and interesting, fascinating that I come across, my daughter is definitely partaking in that. So yeah, we ended up talking, and he was such a wonderful soul, and he told me about his rat race that he was in when he was back on the East Coast, and he was financially successful and things were going well for him financially, but he was not happy, and he had visited Maui, and his soul called him, and he left everything and came to Maui. And unfortunately, after a while, he became homeless. Some people's story here that I've met on the island, their stories are kind of similar. But this guy actually, when he talked about being homeless, he was at peace. He told me, he said, "I am the happiest I've ever been." I looked at him, and it was, I had just moved to the island. I was seeing a few homeless people. I wasn't sure, what was going on. I'm like, maybe they just loved chilling at the beach. The weather is warm. It's beautiful weather. I'm like, maybe they just love the beach so much. Who knows? I don't know. People have their different stories. I don't know. if if it's substance abuse, if it's trauma, I don't judge. I just send love to whoever I come across. And he was telling me that his journey has led him to being homeless, and how he was that moment, he was very happy. And it was unbelievable, like just sitting there or standing there at the time listening to this man. I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish the world was like this. And I know how people in caves feel when they leave everything and then just go and be in caves. And I desperately wanted to do that. I have a little one, I have other obligations, but that is a desire of mine, relinquishing all material needs and just go be me, which I'm doing now, but I do have other obligations that keep pulling me. So I looked at this man, I was like, wow, it made him, he told me it made him even more humble in life. And we talked and talked and talked, and I thanked him. He tried to give me some of his treasures, and I said no. I said it was fine. I thanked him anyways. He was really nice. He was so sweet and loving. I gave him a hug as I was leaving. I hugged him, and I told him it was a pleasure meeting him, and I started walking away. He chased me, and so he gave me this one with a teardrop. So what's in it? There's a little dot in there that's called teardrop that actually makes the glass a little bit more, the value to be, higher value. So he gave me that. He was like, here, take it. And he gave me a couple of shells. He's like, for your daughter, because of course my daughter comes up in everything that I do or I say, pretty much. And I of course rejected, and I didn't want to, just because I'm like, okay, I feel like I needed to give him something, not the other way around. He looked at me, he was like, listen, what you did for me today, I will give you all of my prized possessions. He says, because you actually stopped and talked to me. You acknowledged me as a human being. You were kind. You didn't discriminate against me. He says, for this, it will really, really, really make me even happier than I am to give you this, because I really, really want to. I couldn't say no. Because it makes me want to tear up, because somebody that I thought had nothing, no home, don't even know where the next meal is coming from, gave me their prized possessions. And for me, that's how I see the world. That's how the world should be. Not that I'm, you're giving away everything that you have. It's touching each other's soul. And that's what we both did. I went the next day, I took a bunch of food, and I took my daughter so we can go visit him, and he had already relocated. I couldn't see him. But he will always be in my memory. And I appreciate his gift. And I thank the universe for every wonderful experience that I get. And I know I'm going to be showered with more of it. And I'm sending you all, I wish you all to have these type of beautiful experiences in your life, because they're priceless. All right. Thank you for watching. Mahalo. Shukran.